Hello everyone, myself Mr. Devkan Sharma, Associate Professor, Chaudhary Devilal College of Pharmacy, Jagadri. Today our topic of discussion is premises, equipments and raw material from second unit of quality assurance. Now we will start this topic from premises. Premises Premises must be located, designed and constructed, adapted and maintained to suit the operations to be carried out. The premises means the plant where production takes place. All the other processes also takes place over there. Now the general requirement for premises. The layout and design of premises must aim to minimize the risk of errors and permit effective cleaning and maintenance in order to avoid cross contamination and also build up of dust or dirt and in general any adverse effect on the quality of the product. Means the construction, the layout, the design of the plant must be in order so that there may be there may be no contamination, no cross contamination, and there must not be any adverse effect which affect the quality of the product. Next point, where dust is generated, measures should be taken to avoid cross contamination and facilitate the cleaning. Premises should be situated in an environment that presents the minimum risk of causing any contamination of the raw materials or the products. Premises used for the manufacture of finished products should be suitably designed and constructed to facilitate the good sanitation. Premises should be carefully maintained. Electrical supply, lighting, temperature, humidity, ventilation should be appropriate in the premises. Now, actually, we are in this topic. We will discuss many areas which are in the manufacturing plant. First, we have discussed premises. In premises, there are many different areas. In this, first comes the ancillary area. Ancillary area is the area other than production or quality control. Or we can say the area where not any process takes place. Let's discuss this. Ancillary area, the rest and refreshment rooms should be separate from the manufacturing and control areas. Maintenance workshops should be separated from the production areas, and animal houses should be isolated from the other areas. Next is storage areas. Storage areas should be of sufficient capacity to allow the orderly storage of the various categories of the materials and products with proper separation and segregation of starting and packaging material. Storage areas should be designed or adapted to ensure the good storage conditions. Receiving and dispatch bays should be separated. Segregation should be provided for the storage of the rejected, recalled, or returned material or products. Highly active and radioactive materials or narcotics should be stored in safe and secure. Printed packaging material are considered critical. Therefore, special attention should be paid to sampling and the safe and secure storage of these materials. Next is weighing area. The weighing of starting material and the estimation of the yield by weighing should be carried out in separate weighing areas. Such areas may be part of either storage or production areas. Next is production area. In order to minimize the risk of serious medical hazard due to cross contamination, Dedicated and self-contained facilities must be available for the production of particular pharmaceutical products. Premises should preferably be laid out in such a way as to allow the production to take place in areas connected in a logical order, where starting and primary packaging materials are exposed to the environment. The interior surfaces should be smooth and free from the cracks. Pipework, light fittings, ventilation points, and other services should be designed and sited to avoid the creation of rashes. Drains should be of adequate size and designed and equipped to prevent the backflow. Production areas should be effectively ventilated. Premises for the packaging of pharmaceutical products should be specifically designed. Now, quality control area. Quality control laboratories should be separated from the production areas. Quality control laboratories should be designed to suit the operations to be carried out in them. The design of the laboratories should take into account the suitability of the construction material, prevention of fumes, and the ventilations. Now, these were the different areas in a premise or in a production plant. Now we will discuss prevention of cross contamination and bacterial contamination during the production. First point, when dry material and products are used in the production, special precautions should be taken to prevent the generation and dissemination of the dust. Contamination of starting material or a product by another material must be avoided. Now, cross contamination should be avoided by taking appropriate technical and organizational measures, and these measures are given over there. First is carrying out production in dedicated and self-contained areas. Second is conducting campaign production means separation in time, providing appropriately designed airlocks, minimizing the risk of contamination caused by the recirculation, wearing protective clothes where products or materials are handled. Next, processing operations. How processing of any product takes place. First point is before any processing operation is started, steps should be taken to ensure that the work area and the equipment are clean and free from any starting material. Any necessary in process control and environmental control should be carried out and recorded. Time limits for the storage of equipment after cleaning and before use should be stated and based on the data. Containers for filling should be cleaned before filling. Next, measuring, weighing, recording, and control equipment and instruments should be serviced and calibrated. Now, packaging operations. How packaging operations will take place in the premises. And first is when the program for packaging operation is being set up, particular attention should be given to minimize the risk of cross contamination, mix up, and substitutions. Next is before packing, before packaging operations are begun, steps should be taken to ensure that the work area, packaging lines, printing machines, and other equipments are clean and free from any product or materials. The name and batch number of the product being handled should be displayed at each packaging station or each line. The name and batch number of the product being handled should be displayed at each packaging line and regular online control regular online control of the product during packaging should include at least checks on. The first check is Number A, the general appearance of the packages, whether the packages are complete, whether the correct products and packaging materials are used. These are the various checks. Now, upon completion of packaging operation, any unused batch coded packaging material should be destroyed and destruction should be recorded. Now, this is the heating, ventilation and air conditioning system for non-sterile pharmaceuticals dosage forms. Heating, ventilation and air conditioning HVAC plays an important role in ensuring the manufacture of quality pharmaceutical products. A well-designed HVAC system will also provide comfortable conditions for separation. Now we can see in this flow chart, in this there are the GMP manufacturing environment. We already have discussed GMP topic. Then these are categorized into three categories: product protection, personal protection, environment protection. The product protection, how it will take place: contamination, to save the product from contamination and staff from the contamination, protect from the product cross contamination, correct the temperature and humidity, and in personal protection, prevent contact with the dust, prevent contact with the fumes, acceptable comfort conditions. Now environmental protections: avoid dust discharge, avoid fume discharge, avoid effluent discharge, and this makes a system validation. Now we will discuss about the first, product protection and personal protection. Now first point comes areas for the manufacture of pharmaceuticals, where pharmaceutical starting materials and products, utensils and equipments are exposed to the environment should be classified as clean areas. The achievement of a particular clean area classification depends on a number of criteria, and these criteria includes the further points. These are the points: building finishes and structure, air filtration, air change rate and flushing rate, room pressure, location of air terminals and directional airflow, temperature, humidity, material flow, personal flow, equipment movement, process being carried out, outside air conditions, occupancy and the type of product. Now, in classifying the environment, the manufacturer should state whether this is achieved under as built, at rest and operational conditions. Means the manufacturer have to state that material is prepared in which environment, among these three: as built condition, at rest condition and operational condition. In these three figures you can see that they are the there are three conditions. In first condition there is no equipment and no personnel. In second figure we can see that there are the equipments but no personnel. In third condition we can see there are the equipments and the personnel also. Now we will discuss this. Room classification test in as built condition should be carried out on the bare room, means in the absence of any equipment and any personnel. And room classification test in at rest condition should be carried out with the equipment operating where without any operators. But in the third condition we can see that room classification test in the operational condition should be carried out during the normal production process with equipment operating and the normal number of the personnel present in the room. Now these are the three conditions, and the manufacturer will state in which condition a particular product is being prepared. Now we will discuss air filtration. Air filtration is an important role in the manufacturing. Now, the degree to which air is filtered plays an important role in the prevention of contamination and the control of cross contamination. The type of filters required for different application depend on the quality of the ambient air and the return air. Ambient air means the air, the outside air, and the return air which return to the outside from the plant. Materials for component of HVAC system should be selected with care so that they do not become the source of contamination. Ventilation dampers, filters and other services should be designed and positioned so that they are accessible from outside the manufacturing areas. Personnel should not be a source of contamination, and directional air flow within the production or packaging area should assist in preventing the contamination. And these are the important points of air filtration. Whenever possible, air should be exhausted from a low level in the rooms to help provide a flushing effect. The return air should be exhausted from the low level in the room. In these three figures, we can see that the fresh air comes in from the upside, here and here, but the return air exhausted from the bottom of these rooms. Now in these three figures we used different types of diffuser. In first figure there is normal orifice type diffuser, and in figure 2 there is perforated plate diffuser, and in third is swirl diffuser. Now there is one important topic: unidirectional airflow. Uni means in a single direction. Unidirectional airflow UDAF should be used where appropriate to provide product protection by supplying a clean air supply over the product and minimizing the ingress of contaminants from surrounding areas, and where appropriate the unidirectional airflow should also provide protection to the operator from contamination by the product. Means the unidirectional airflow means the air will flow from one direct in a single direction, and it will main purpose of this is to prevent the cross contamination and also to protect the personnel or operator in performing that particular process. In figure we can say that there is a operator and he is operating the weighing machine, and above this room we can see that there is a supply of air. This is the direction of air. Now this is the distributor of the air, and air should exhaust from there. Means there is the unidirection airflow. Air comes from here and goes through here so that it can prevent the operator while operating the procedures. Also further, the unidirectional flow velocity should be such that it does not disrupt the sensitivity of the balance in the weighing areas. And in these rooms you can say that the UDAF unidirectional airflow can be approached by this method also. In room number 1, in room number 2 production room, this is the horizontal unidirectional airflow, and in room number 2 this is the vertical UDAF unidirectional airflow. Now we will discuss infiltration. Infiltration means uh, infiltration means the some part of dust infiltrated in some areas. First point is air filtration of Unfiltered air into a pharmaceutical plant should not be the source of the contamination. Further, manufacturing facilities should be maintained at a positive pressure relative to the outside pressure to limit the ingression of the ingress of the contaminants. The location of the negative pressure facility should be carefully considered with reference to the area surrounding it. Means how we can prevent the infiltration. Now we will discuss cross contamination. Cross contamination where different products are manufactured at the same time in different areas or cubicles in a multi-product OSD manufacturing site. Measures should be taken to ensure the dust cannot move from one cubicle to another cubicle. Correct directional air movement and a pressure cascade system can assist in preventing cross contamination. The corridor should be maintained at higher pressure than the cubicles, and the cubicles at a higher pressure than the atmospheric pressure. This is the how the air pressure can prevent the cross contamination of the product. Now building structures should be given special attention to accommodate the pressure cascade design. Now there are two pressure differentials. Point first concept is displacement concept. Displacement concept, this concept should ideally be applied in production process where large amount of dust are generated. Under this concept, the air should be supplied to the corridor, flow through the doorway and be extracted from the back of the cubicle, and the velocity should be high enough to prevent the turbulence. There are two concepts. These first one is the displacement concept and second one is the pressure differential concept. In differential concept, there is the high airflow. High airflow, we can remember this high airflow for high quantity of the dust, low airflow for low quantity of the dust. For by using high airflow, there is a low pressure differential, and as the pressure difference takes place, the dust flow with the high air velocity. And in the pressure differential concept, we can say here the pressure differential concept may normally be used in the zones where the little or no dust is being generated. Means in this concept there is lower flow and a high pressure difference. That's why small quantity of dust can flow with the airflow. So these are the two concepts. Now we will discuss temperature and relative humidity. Temperature and relative humidity should be controlled, monitored and recorded where relevant to ensure compliance with the requirement of the pertinent of the material and products. Maximum and minimum room temperatures and relative humidity should be appropriate. Temperature conditions should be adjusted to suit the needs of the operators while wearing their protective clothes. Now further we will discuss this, that precautions should be taken to prevent moisture migration. Humidity control should be achieved by removing moisture from the air or adding moisture to the air. We can control the humidity by adding by removing the moisture or by adding the moisture. Dehumidifiers या dehumidification process, the process in which we removes the moisture. Dehumidification moisture removal may be achieved by means of either refrigerated dehumidifiers or chemically dehumidifiers, but humidifiers should be avoided if possible because they may become a source of contamination. Then this is the points related to the humidification. Now we will discuss dust control, how we can control the dust. For example, first point is wherever possible the dust or vapor contamination should be removed at once by point of use extraction. That is, the point of use extraction means that is as close as possible to the point where the dust is generated, it should be employed. Next, dust extraction ducting should be designed with sufficient transfer velocity. Airflow direction should be carefully chosen. Now, typically in a room operating with turbulent airflow, the air should be introduced from ceiling diffusers and extracted from the room at low level to give a flushing effect in the room. As we also discussed earlier, that the fresh air, the introduction of the air in any room should be from the top of the room, and the exhaust of the air should be from the low level or bottom of the room. The rate at which fresh air is supplied to the facility should comply with the national, regional and or international regulations. Now we will discuss this protection of the environment, dust in exhaust air. Exhaust air discharge points on pharmaceutical equipment and facilities such as from fluid bed dryers, tablet coating equipments, exhaust air from dust extraction system carry heavy dust and should be provided with adequate filtration to prevent contamination of the ambient air. Where the powders are not highly potent, final filters on a dust exhaust system should be fine dust filters with a filter classification of F9, and where harmful substances such as penicillin, hormones, toxic powders and enzymes are manufactured, HEPA filters should be used at that point. When handling hazardous compounds, safe change filter housing, also known as bag in bag out filter, should be used. Now, sophisticated computer-based data monitoring system may be installed with which preventive maintenance is planned by the trend logging. Now the next point is fume removal. The system for the fume, dust and effluent control should be designed, installed and operated in such a manner that they do not become possible sources of contamination or cross contamination. Fume should be removed either by wet scrubbers or by dry chemical scrubbers. Dry chemical scrubber, also known as deep bed scrubbers. Wet scrubbers for fume removal normally require the addition of various chemicals to the water to increase the absorption efficiency, but deep bed scrubbers should be designed with activated carbon filters or granular chemical adsorption media. Now HVAC system and components. There should be no failure of a air fan, return air fan, exhaust air fan or dust extract system fan. Failure can cause a system imbalance and also result in a cascade malfunction with a resulting in air flow reversal. Next is air should be dried with a chemical dryer. Low level return or exhaust air grills are used preferably. There may be alternative location for the return air. For example, referring to the first figure, if we see this first figure, in this figure there is room D and there is room D and room E. In these two rooms, we can assemble this. We can second figure. In first figure, there may be alternative location for return air. For example, referring alternative, we can see that in first figure in room D, the fresh air comes from here and returns from here and here. But in the room E, the supply of air from the ceiling and also returning of the air is also from the ceiling. In these two figures, we can say that the The HEPA filters are arranged uh, different position. In first air handling unit, we can see that there is primary filter. Then this is the cooling coil. Then this is the supply air fan, and this is the secondary filter, and this is the HEPA filter. If we use this HEPA filter in this unit here, then there is no turbulence. But in this second figure, but in the second figure we can see that with the the air supply is horizontal and vertical. In this there is vertical, and in this there is this horizontal, and these are also unidirectional airflow, UDAF. Vertical unidirectional flow and turbulent flow. This is the vertical and this is the turbulent flow. And in this figure we can see that there is no HEPA filter here. This is present over here. Now we again came to this point, recirculation system. Recirculation system, there should be no risk of contamination or cross contamination due to recirculation of fan. HEPA filters HEPA filter may not be required where the air handling system is serving a single product facility. But HEPA filters may be located in the air handling unit or placed terminally. In these two figures, HEPA filter in first figure, this is the in the air handling unit, and in second figure HEPA filter is placed terminally. Now this is our new topic, utilities and maintenance of sterile areas. This part emphasizes specific points for the manufacture of sterile preparations to minimize the risk of microbiological, particulate and pyrogen contamination. The production of sterile preparation should be carried out in clean areas, entry to which should be through airlocks for personnel and or for the equipment and the materials. So this is the condition for the how we can manufacture the sterile preparations. But first point is sanitation. The sanitation of clean areas is particularly important. Disinfectant and detergent should be monitored for microbiological contamination. In order to control the microbiological cleanness of the various grades in operation, the clean areas should be monitored. Levels or limits of detection of microbiological contamination should be established for alert and for the action purposes. Now the manufacturing of sterile preparation. How we can prepare the sterile preparation and what precautions should be there. Clean areas for the manufacture of sterile products are classified according to the required characteristics of the environment. Each manufacturing operation requires an appropriate environmental cleanliness level in the operational state in order to minimize the risk of particulate or microbiological contaminants of the product or materials being handled. For the manufacture of sterile pharmaceuticals preparation, four grades are distinguished. First grade is grade A, grade B, grade C, and grade D. In grade A, the local zone for high risk operations, for example, filling in and making aseptic connections. Grade B, in aseptic preparations and filling, the background environment for the grade A zone, and grade C and grade D, clean areas for carrying out less critical stages in the manufacture of sterile products. So these are the four grades: grade A, grade B, grade C, and grade D. Uh, uh, these are distinguished by manufacturing, and in order to reach the B, C, and D air grades, the number of air changes should be appropriate for the size of room and the equipment and personnel present in it. At least 20 air changes per hour are usually required for a room with a good airflow pattern and appropriate high efficiency particulate air filters, HEPA filters. Now we will discuss the processing, how the processing takes place. First is precautions to minimize the contamination should be taken during all processing stages, including the stages before sterilization. The validation of aseptic processing should include simulating the process using a nutrient medium. Care should be taken to ensure that any validation does not compromise the process. Activities in clean area, especially when aseptic operations are in progress, should be kept to a minimum and the movement of personnel should be controlled. The presence of containers and materials liable to generate fiber should be minimized. And the last point, important point is that we should maintain the time gap between different processes. For example, there should be a definite time interval between the washing and the drying and the sterilization, and also between the sterilization and use processes should be as short as possible. The gap should be short, time interval should be short. The efficient the efficacy of any new processing procedure should be validated. And now this is the sterilization point. Whenever possible, products intended to be sterile should preferably be terminally sterilized by heat in the final container. Where it is not possible to carry out terminal sterilization by heating due to the instability of the formulation, a decision should be taken to use an alternative method of terminal sterilization following filtration and or aseptic processing. Means we always use the sterilization by either dry heat method or moist heat method. But if there is any problem with the product due to heat, then we should take the alternative method just like filtration or aseptic processing, and sterilization can be achieved by the use of moist heat or dry heat. Now personals, the next point in comes under the sterilization is personal. How sterilization is maintained by the personals. First point is only the minimum number of personnel required should be present in the clean area. All personnel employed in the such area should receive initial and regular training. Staff who have been engaged in the processing of animal tissue material or the cultures of microorganism, they should not enter the sterile product areas. High standards of personal hygiene and cleanliness are essential, and personnel involved in the manufacture of sterile preparation should be instructed to report diff- and in the next point is wrist watches, jewelry should not be worn in the clean areas, and cosmetics that can shed the particles, they should not be applied. Now premises, how premises be sterilized or how premises should be prepared during sterilization. First point is all premises should as far as possible be designed to avoid the unnecessary entry of the supervisory or the control personnel. In clean areas, all exposed surfaces should be smooth. To reduce the accumulation of dust and to facilitate cleaning, there should be no uncleanable recesses. False ceiling False ceilings should be sealed to prevent contamination from the space above them. Pipes and ducts and the other utilities should be installed so that they do not create recesses. Sinks and drains should be avoided. Changing rooms should be designed with airlocks. A filtered air supply should be used to maintain a positive pressure. It should be demonstrated that Airflow patterns do not present a contamination risk. Now we will discuss equipment, how equipment can help into the sterilization or how equipments are sterilized. A conveyor belt should not pass through a partition between grade A and grade B clean area and a processing area of lower air cleanliness. Whenever possible, equipment used for processing sterile products should be chosen so that it can be effectively sterilized by steam or dry heat or other methods. As far as possible, equipments and services should be designed. Now, when equipment maintenance is carried out within a clean area, clean instruments and tools should be used over there. Water treatment plants and distribution systems should be designed, constructed and maintained so as to ensure a reliable source of water of an appropriate quality. So these were the points in the sterilization topic. Now this is our next topic, equipments and the raw material. In this we will study how selection of equipments are done, what are the criteria for their purchase and how they can be maintained, and also further we will discuss what types of raw materials are used in the premises or any production plant and how they be handled. So first is equipments. Equipment must be located, designed, constructed, adapted and maintained to suit the operation to be carried out. The layout and design of equipment must aim to minimize the risk of errors and permit effective cleaning and maintenance. And the second point is equipment should be installed in such a way so as to minimize any risk of error of the contamination. Fixed pipe work should be clearly labeled to indicate the contents. All services, piping and devices should be adequately marked. Production equipment should be thoroughly cleaned on a scheduled basis. Laboratory equipment and instruments should be suited to the testing procedure undertaken. Washing, cleaning and drying equipment should be chosen. Production equipment should not present any hazard to the products. Now the last point is defective equipment should be removed from production and quality control areas. Now I am telling you the main important points among these, and you can write all over all the points to cover any question. Next is materials. The main objective of a pharmaceutical plant is to produce finished products for the patient use from a combination of material. The combination should be the starting material and the packaging material. Material also include material कितने type के use कर सकते हैं. The packaging materials, gases, solvents, process aids, reagents and labeling materials. ठीक है. Next we will start from starting materials. The purchase of starting material is an important operation that should involve staff who have a particular and thorough knowledge of the products and the supplier. Uh, the starting material should be purchased only from approved suppliers and where possible directly from the producer. For each consignment, the container should be checked for at least integrity of the package. All incoming materials should be checked to ensure that the consignment correspond to the order. Damage to container and any other problem that might adversely affect the quality of a material should be recorded. Only starting materials released by the quality control department and within their shelf life should be used. These were the points regarding the starting materials. Now we will discuss the packaging material. The purchase, handling and control of primary and printed packaging material should be same as with the starting material. But particular attention should be paid to the printed packaging material. They should be stored in a secure condition so as to exclude the possibility of unauthorized access. All the points which we have discussed with starting material, they came into the topic packaging material. But additionally, the particular attention, we should take the particular attention regarding the printed packaging material. They should be stored in a secure condition as they can exclude the possibility of unauthorized access. Next is each delivery or batch of printed or primary packaging material should be given a specific reference number or any identification mark. So these were the, now we have completed our second unit, and in this video I have explained the important points under every heading, but the student can read all the points to make accessible to write any long answer question. I hope you will understand this. Thank you.